Hello. Good evening, friends. Meeting again in the session of philosophy after a gap. We are discussing regarding the chapter The Life, Health and Disease and the concepts of life in detail, the concepts of health in disease and concept of disease in detail. Where Stuart Close tried to explain what is exactly meant by the life and how the material science denies the life, and by denying the life one cannot answer many things. And he was explaining, unless and until life enters inside that fertilized ovum, that further development, all the functions of the life never starts. The growth, the repair, the production, all those never develops unless and until life enters over there. And this life requires an energy which that human being takes it from the surrounding. It is present in the universe in the form of oxygen, in the form of food, in the form of many things which water, all those things, and from which the life prepares its own energy. So the energy which was in a potential form is getting converted into the kinetic. The it is a transformation of energy, and this transformation of energy is required for the further to develop and further to go ahead. And this concept he is explaining over there, where chemical energy which is derived from the food, useful for the human being in order to perform all his functions. So we were there on the page number 65, the second last paragraph, which we have to discuss in detail, because here he explains exactly all the properties of life. So what he says, in no other way and from no other source could the centrosome attract the ruling element by which the living human body and brain are endowed with their peculiar properties and functions of number one, organization, number two, growth, number three, self-repair, number four, reproduction, number five, intelligence, number six, reason, number seven, feeling, and number eight, will. These are eight properties of the life. These are the eight properties. These are very essential properties. See, these are not the properties of the body. These are the properties of that life, the vital principle which lies inside, which gives reason for the body to perform all those things. And that's why first important function which he explains over there is the organization. What is an organization? The life denotes to the cells what to do. So the fertilized egg, there is only one cell called a stem cell that it starts reproducing, and then the life defines, yes, you do the work of brain, you do the work of GI tract, you do the work of extremities, and accordingly the cell changes its shape, its function, and it develops its function, and accordingly it works. So first function of the life is organization. It starts right from the birth, right from the fertilization, then growth, the development, the reproduction. So one cell becomes two, two to four, four to eight, eight to 16. This development, reproduction, and growth and development, this depends and ultimately started right from the life. If life is not entered over there in fertilized egg, it becomes just a blighted ovum. There is no further development, and it has been thrown away from the body. So life has those functions, and one must know. So first function is the organization, the second function is the growth, third is the self-repair. That is most important function. If there is an injury to your body, it heals itself. We apply ointment and we feel that because of ointments we get repaired. Not at all. It is just for the mind's sake we apply the ointment. It is the self-repair, which is the function of the body, and body itself repairs. You see, you don't do anything within span of 48 hours, it starts healing. Whatever may be the injury is there, and there are a number of injuries happens inside and which are repaired by themselves. So self-repair is one of the important function of the life. Reproduction already we have discussed. The intelligence, most important function of the life. What is an intelligence? Anyone who can define the intellect or anyone who can explain what is an intelligence? Intelligence is that faculty of the brain which, with the help of logic and memory, comes to an deduction or comes to a conclusion is called an intellect. This intellect is there with the life. If life is not there, there is no more intellect. So intellect is not only the function of a brain. The brain has developed right from the life only. And that's why it's a function. The intelligence lies over there in the life. And that works, that starts reasoning. That is the reason, logic, the thinking. So thinking is the process of the life. So it thinks. There is a one part in the brain which memorizes. So whatever we used to see, whatever we used to observe, whatever we used to feel, whatever we used to perceive, everything is saturated in our memory. So our life, our life principle works in such a manner that it definitely gets together, brings together the memory as well as logic and comes to some conclusion. That is what is called as an intent. And that's why it decides what to do or not to do, whether to do or not to do. So every conclusion, every decision is based upon that thing. So this is one important function of the life is the intelligence, reason. Reason means thinking. Thinking is of the life. If life is not there, there is no question of thinking. So life, again, it's a function of life, reasoning. So you think there are n number of thoughts develops in your brain. It develops because of life. If life is not there, there is no more question of thought. So reasoning is one important function which are property of the life. And last is the will. So these are mixed properties of life and brain. Will means to what to do, to think about the future, to think about the decision. In Marathi, we call Ichha Shakti. Will is the important entity because of which we are alive on this earth, because of which we have developed. So will is one of the important property of life and the brain. So see, these are important qualities one must understand. This is what the life and brain together works, and because of which the all activities of the human being are performed. So we have to give importance to these things. When we deal with the human being, we must know all those things. Then he further says, electrical science, in its theory of electromagnetic induction and conversion, has thus paved the way for clearer understanding of the modus operandi of the life principle. Physics and biology are in harmony with homeopathics, the science of homeopathy. So, electrical science gives a way for the homeopaths to understand the modus operandi of life principle. So, if there is something happens in your life, some disturbance from outside, and your vital force gets disturbed, there are accordingly changes happens in your electromagnetic field and you get disturbed, you start showing some symptomatology, and then you are labeled that you are disease now. Now, again, the medicine which you give again works in the same plane, the dynamic plane where the disease has developed. It also produces similar type of effect on the human being. It works in the same electrical or electromagnetic field of the human being. It works in the same dynamic plane. It produces similar type of symptomatology and affects the human, the vital force. So the vital force which was there disturbed because of natural disease now absolutely eradicated because of nature's law of cure. That is, a weaker dynamic affection is permanently extinguished in the living organism by a stronger one if latter is very similar to former in its manifestation. So manifestations are same. Now the natural disease is removed by artificial disease which is developed because of medicine, and no more vital force is deranged. That vital force brings its own capacity and removes the artificial disease. So this like modus operandi works on the basis of the science only. There is science behind that. It is not nothing like just a entity. Only thing is that we call it dynamic because it is not a visible entity. It is an invisible entity. And that's what he's saying. The physics and biology are in harmony with the homeopathics and science of homeopathy. Their basic principles are identical. The respective scientific explanations of the origin, constitution, and the transformation of the matter and laws governing the same agree perfectly as far as they go. So when you learn homeopathy and when you apply the physics, chemistry, and biology to the homeopathy, then you will find that basic principles of all these three sciences goes hand in hand with the principles of homeopathy. There is no differentiation. So there is nothing like that. Physics says separate, something separate, and homeopathy says something like that. Physics says matter is indestructible, and same principle is used when animal have prepared the medicines and he has prepared the potencies, which becomes invisible, but still the material remains over there. That's what physics says. So even though it is invisible, still it persists. So this is very important thing which it explains over there. The same is true for the chemistry. So chemistry is one of the important faculty of the science which works or goes hand in hand with the medical science. So these are two important entities which comes together and meets together and from which the medicines have been prepared, developed. The third, biology. Biology is absolutely related with it. So these are not three different sciences. These are all sciences which goes hand in hand with the homeopathy. And then he further says, he is giving you examples of the science and homeopathy. Just a minute. The explanation of physics, biology, and serve equally well for homeopathy in its physical and biological aspects. Ionization, for example, the breaking apart of electrolytes into anions and cations by solution or other processes, chemical or mechanical. The theory of electrolytic dissociation is an adequate physical explanation of what occurs in the preparation of trituration, solution, dilution, according to the scale of homeopathic hypothesis. The much derided and discussed infinitesimals of homeopathy are found at last in the farthest advance of science to be known common property under the general mathematical theory of infinitesimal. So see what he is explaining. He is explaining that concepts of biology, yes, followed by homeopathy. The concepts of physics, followed by homeopathy. The concept of infinitesimal is followed by homeopathy. So if you go, you'll find that all things are followed in homeopathy. All the laws that of energy are also followed by homeopathy. So what we learned regarding the energy in physics? Energy neither be created nor be destroyed, but it gets converted from one form to another form. And what do we do when we prepare the medicine? We used to use the same thing. The energy which was there in the medicinal crude medicines in the potential form is getting converted into the kinetic form or vital form because of some methods, either a trituration, either a succussion. But ultimately, it is the same thing which we used to use, and we used to prepare the infinitesimal doses. So he is trying to correlate the science with homeopathy and explaining the details of it over there. Physicists and biologists, as well as the homeopathists, have been led to the adoption of theory of infinitesimals to explain their phenomena and of the infinitesimal quantity to accomplish their ends. So this is this infinitesimal dose which is prepared in homeopathy, that is after the 12C potency and after 24X potency, when medicine becomes dynamic, which we label as it goes or advances to the next potency. We call them infinitesimal because we cannot measure with the help of any instrument, which you cannot show in the form of some laboratory tests. And that's why it is called as an infinitesimal. But it is there because we are using the same law of physics. Matter is indestructible. That is the and infinitely divisible. This is the physics law of physics, which we used to follow when we prepare the homeopathic medicine. So see, the concepts which are there in the physics are followed in homeopathy. Only thing is that people never knows it. And because of which they label that it is a placebo. It is not at all placebo. And then he says the amazing achievements of the modern physical, chemical, and electrical science have been made possible only by knowledge of powers, properties, and laws of infinity. So this is the all three physics, chemistry, and electrical science which we used to follow over there in homeopathy. We prepare our medicines in the same manner. We liberate the energy which is there inside it. We divide the nucleus by the process of trituration. We divide it by the process of succussion, and because of which the it gets released over there. Mathematics, greatest and most ancient of the sciences, opened the way with its infinitesimal differential and integral calculus and laid the foundation upon which later coming sciences were built. Homeopathy is among them. So we used to use mathematics in homeopathy. It is the most ancient science, which is followed even in astrology. And is the most important thing. It is not just preparing a tea, it is preparing a medicine and it is according to the scientific method. And that's why Hahnemann used the definition only. It is a mathematico-mechanical process by which the inherent properties of the crude medicinal substance are aroused into activity. In the definition, he says it is a mathematico-mechanical process. So mathematics is included over there. So it is because of mathematics, whatever the medicine we prepare, we are damn sure that this is same medicine in the same potency because we have used the mathematics. We follow the different scales. We follow the decimal scale, we follow the centesimal scale, we follow the 50 millisimal scale. So we used to use the proportion 1 is to 12, 1 is to 100, 1 is to 50,000. These are the proportions we used to use while preparing the medicines, preparing the potencies. And that's why it is not just making a medicine without using mathematics, but by using mathematics as well as the proportions. So what he is explaining over there, he is explaining the concepts of health, concepts of disease, and concepts of life in relation with the science. So it is not just a superficial understanding of the things. I think it's better to stop over here because a new topic is there, the nature of disease. That's what we have to learn. That will start mostly in tomorrow's session. I don't know whether it is possible to conduct session tomorrow or not. If it is possible and there is no noise outside, definitely we'll have a lecture. If there is any problem, we're not going to conduct lecture. And it's not possible today evening to conduct lecture of Materia Medica. So we'll either meet tomorrow or day after tomorrow. So thank you and good evening.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good night.